her up.
I don't think that made it. I don't know if I muted or unmuted before you said that.
I think you were muted.
So, yeah, I'm not seeing weird reactions in the chat. So
I just checked. You just missed it.
That was only for you guys.
All right. Hey, internets! It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, Season 6, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. This is Episode 15, The Last Unicorn. And we'll find out what that's all about in just a moment. If we can get to that part, the part where we actually play the game. First off, it's nice to have everybody around the table here today. I know it's been a couple weeks since we were here, and it's been a few weeks since we've had everybody at the table. So this is a nice feeling. The other thing I want to mention is, looking up here, Dawnbringers is brought to you by Session Zero Clothing. We are excited to be partnered up with them. They are makers of fine merchandise like nerdy t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, accessories for your next session. They've got some cool stickers I've got all along my workbench here, and I've got a hat that has become my new favorite hat that I wear whenever I go out of the house, which is why I don't have it here. But trust me when I say that they have some really cool stuff. I'm trying not to look at you guys and look at the chat. This is going to be an interesting game because these guys got their own little...
I was just trying to do something healthy.
Nobody understood what you just said. Not a soul.
Something healthy and it backfired.
She speaks me.
Yes.
I was gonna say maybe Katie speaks me.
We're actively sharing the brain cell right now.
Oh my god. My vitamin C supplement went rogue and hurt. Okay. What happened with that?
Oh boy.
Rogue.
All right. Well, if you look up above V and Dan in the corner there, you will see our domain dice, which I owe a couple of dice to you. One for our first and longtime subscriber, what you're looking at, who has just resubscribed for 52 months. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I also owe you one for, if it'll show up, there it goes, because today is our own Dwarven Barbarian, not that one, the other one, Thorgarn. It's Ted's birthday today, so everybody wish Ted a happy birthday in chat, and there's a domain die, and Smokebeard just thank you for that sub as well. Gonna go ahead and bump this up to 135. Adjust that there. Trust me when I say we are working towards a place where you are going to need all the domain dice you can get.
That's not ominous.
No, it's absolutely meant to be ominous.
You mean omnivorous?
That too.
Omnivorous.
That too. So we are gonna get playing here in just a moment, but first I just want to just take a moment and remind everybody that you matter. Your presence here makes a difference, whether or not you believe it. We say it every game, we say it every time we stream, and it's because it's important. Mental health is something that we focus on all the time here at Mini Terrain Domain, and we want to take a moment just to remind you that if you are struggling, if you are going through something, that first of all, it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel those feelings and do what you need to do, but you do not need to struggle alone. There are resources that are available, and we've grabbed a couple of those and made it so that all you have to do is type !help in the chat, and you will get a link to findahelpline.com, or you can head on over to takethis.org and check out their mental health resources page, which includes findahelpline.com, as well as other resources that are available to you. Please bookmark those websites, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay! Thank you,
not excited at all. You all...
Rolo is a bit of a Muppet.
Right?
A little bit. That was actually part of my inspiration.
Aw.
We find the Dawnbringers in the Feywild, where you have been for a little while, tracking down the Evangeline. What was once your ship, you learned was actually inhabited by the spirit of Evangeline the Archfey from the land of Prismere, who had been imprisoned by what you've recently learned to be the Hourglass Coven, a coven of jealous witches that have divided Prismere up into pieces for themselves, hither, thither, and yon. You have dealt with Bavlorna Blatestraw and her minions. You have been traveling through the land of Thither, finding a little bit of information about what's going on here, with characters such as Will of the Feywild, a child that Skabatha Nightshade, Granny Nightshade is looking for, and a man who was imprisoned in a cave who was weaving his wealth into magic items for passersby. You saw signs of a draconic creature known as the Jabberwock. And you've wandered a bit through the woods until you stumbled across the Getaway Gang, a gang of children led by Will of the Feywild, who very quickly, while initially skeptical of you, as soon as he and his gang found out that you were against Granny Nightshade and you were looking to deal with the problems in this realm, they welcomed you in and brought you through a little bit of a traipse through the woods until you arrived at a clearing with a large oak tree with swings hanging from it, and there was a tree house, and as the kids showed up, the tree leaned over and asked if everything was okay, and you were welcomed into this group. So if you had need of it, you may take a short rest at this point. If anybody needed that. It's been long enough for you to have had a short rest and to have rested your feet and settled down in this clearing with this group of children. I'm
going to use Arcane Recovery during this short rest.
Okay. Also, Cantrielle, you have Star, the Displacer Kitty, that, as long as you have the mirrored ball, has been staying very close to your side. This Displacer Kitten was accompanying the Get Along gang, but you were actually looking for them because the mother was looking for them back at the WitchLight Carnival. One thing that you would have learned in this period of time while you are waiting with or resting with the Get Along gang is, besides Will of the Feywild, you've learned that the tougher than he looks young dwarf, all of these kids looking roughly around 12 or 13, his name is Bobby. The sort of the tall, red-haired wood elf girl who has a little air of boredom and cockiness is named Sloane, and there is another girl who is an orc who is named Zenar. And of course, Will of the Feywild, who is looks to be a normal 11-year-old human boy. Is there anything you would specifically want to talk to the children about or ask about while you were having this rest?
Rollo would like to know if you want to play hide and seek.
Hide and seek is absolutely one of my all-time favorite games, but I must warn you that I am the best at this game.
Oh, Rollo disputes that, for Rollo is the master.
I find that a little difficult to believe when I'm the only true master.
Rollo challenges you to hide and seek.
You're
And we play hide
on.
and seek.
Okay, roll a d20.
Okay. $17.
You hide first.
Okay.
While Rollo is going off to hide, Will leans against the little oak and starts counting loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what brings you all to the Feywild?
Well played.
Anyone?
Well, you're really gonna let her run off and hide for a while, aren't you?
Well, if she's as good as she says she is, she'll need a minute.
Gotcha. We're here trying to find an old friend. You
Okay.
might know the name.
Yeah.
Angeline.
Evangeline. The name rings a bell. How do you know this? Evangeline, was it?
Yes. It's a friend of ours.
You, I believe, could be friends with Evangeline.
All right.
But the rest of these guys?
Talmud, you're not in the mine. Stop digging for gold.
As you say that, Bobby, who was right beside Talmud and is almost mirroring whatever Talmud does, also just kind of goes...
They might be rough around the edges, but trust me, they are very much good company to keep. For the most part. She shoots Talmud a look.
We sailed with Evangeline on the oceans of the material plane.
How could you sail with Evangeline on the material plane when she's been imprisoned here for so very long?
Well, we were told that time works differently between our home and this place. Isn't that correct?
I've heard that. I've never actually been outside of the Feywild before.
Oh, it's true.
Roll a stealth check.
$26.
Okay. I've never actually left the Feywild. And the whole time Will's talking, he's kind of moving along the edge of the trees, and he's just saying, I've often thought about it. He looks behind a tree. I've considered maybe there might be something more beyond this place, especially if the Hourglass Coven isn't overthrown and they stay in. I gotcha! And looks into under a tarp where you clearly are not. Oh my gosh. I keep rolling ones for him. I've rolled 3 ones in a row.
Yeah.
Let me set this die off to the side. So the whole time he just keeps looking, and you can see from where you're hiding that he has absolutely no idea where you are.
Just so you're aware, if he gets close to me, I have an action I would like to take.
Okay. So
as he's doing his thing, Drown, they're chatting, he watches, and kind of Drown nods and says, these games are good. They hone your skills. They'll prove who is the best.
Do you want to play hide and seek, Drown?
I am not very good at it.
How about I hide, you seek? I'll help you hone your skills.
I'm
Wouldn't it
perhaps
be better?
worse at seeking.
Wouldn't it be better to have somebody not as stealthy try to do the hiding? You're supposed to
Who
improve.
said I'm stealthy?
You've been traveling with you for a long time.
Well, it would certainly sharpen skills.
roll
If
a
you want
what?
to play, I'll play, but I have no illusions of winning.
Rolo, what was your stealth again?
26.
Okay. While Drown and Cantrielle are talking, you notice that Will is getting closer. And he's getting closer in that way that he seems like he's kind of narrowed down what direction you went.
Okay.
Which one was
Rolo
it that you
casts
said was?
Misty Step.
Oh, there you go.
Make a stealth check, because that requires a verbal component. Rolo's over there going, caw, caw. What was that?
25.
Good lord.
Rolo is proficient in stealth, just for
And
the
I am not joking. With a different die, I just rolled a 4th one.
Wow.
Rolla told you she is the master.
Way to use that arcane recovery.
Right. Sorry, one of you was asking a question about Talmud.
Yeah. Which was it? The one that you were saying was close to me?
That is Bobby,
Okay.
the dwarf with like peach fuzz on his face.
Perfect. So Talmud is going to be kind of like studying Bobby. He said, did you happen to stop by a carnival that you found here? Is that why you're small?
I'm not sure I take your meaning.
Oh my god, Talmud, you can't just go asking people why they're small.
You're
Sorry.
supposed
Your
to be
smallness.
hiding. Little one. No, I mean, your beard is so
Young?
well, yes, that too.
Well,
But
that's
at the carnival, did you get stuck this way?
it's because I'm a child.
Well, I was too, but it was just for a wee time. Oh yeah, we all were. At the carnival.
I'm sorry. I just met you, and I don't know if it's appropriate for you to be having the talk with me.
What?
It sounds like you're leading into like just talking about the birds and the
good.
bees.
No. Tell him that he's a little boy.
Birds and bees. Look, you're gonna
He
have
is
to talk to
actually a
Cantrielle
child.
about that stuff.
Oh, good lord! Do I have to have the talk with you?
I've tried many times. He's not very attentive.
Talmud. I think they're
Try-
actually children.
Okay. That makes, I guess, a little bit more sense. Was just curious if it was just something that we had to go through, or if it's, was something that was more constant throughout this whole crazy wild place. Birds and bees and vegetables and God knows what else.
Make an insight check. Talmud.
Talmud?
Yes.
Better you than me.
This ought to be good. Let's see. Insight. Oh, actually, it's a pretty good insight. That is a 21.
Hey now.
As you're talking to Bobby and he's telling you that he's a child, you see something in his eyes. And you realize that what you are seeing is wisdom that comes with age. He may look like he is 12 years old outwardly, but he is not 12 years old.
It may be rude for me to ask. He kind of like looks at the rest of the group for a second. But how old are you, lad?
I'm 13? No, 4. Curses. Not quite. Alright, if I'm being honest with you, I have no idea. I don't know how long we've been here. And I've just always sort of been this age.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Did you
Well-
come to the Feywild from Toril?
I did.
Do you remember what year it was?
When I left Toril, I was of an age where I didn't care about things like what year it was. I feel like it was quite a long time ago, though. But I look pretty darn good, don't I? And I can do this. And he stands up in front of you, Talmud, and he just quickly starts like doing deep knee bends and jumping up and
Not
and,
cool, kid.
and his
Not
bones
cool.
don't crack when he does it.
Well, as impressive as that might be, it dawns on me that perhaps you might have missed more than a few of your birthdays. That's a shame. But, Fig, if you would, and Talmud kind of indicates for Fig to open his hat.
I think when you look over at Fig is like crouched down. You know when kids do like the like feet flat, butt down kind of like that kind of little squat across from another one of the kids, and they're engaged in some kind of like little rock game where like one of the kids like throws a rock against another rock and it's like, yeah, 10 points, and Fig's just like scratching his head and he's just like, that is incongruent with the rules that you had just stated to me 2 minutes ago.
You're
From my
playing a game of I
calculation,
win.
but that doesn't make any sense. There should be rules. You cannot just make up rules. Then how will I have a chance to win?
Maybe, and I imagine it's the orc girl that you're playing with, and as she picks up the two rocks and she hands one to you. Maybe you just got to be better at making your own rules.
You see Fig like pause as if he's like, this has truly never dawned on him before. Like this is like this new thing, and he. Okay, I get 30 points. I win. And he stands up and then goes towards Talmud.
And she's just looking at the rock in her hand, and the wood elf girl Sloane, actually, you just hear her go. And it's the first time you've heard her laugh, let alone seen her smile. As Will just kind of looks around at everybody and looks at you all there. Will sort of perched up on a well-worn stump that's nearby, and it's just sort of sitting there with one leg up, and he's got his arm up on his knee as he's looking around. You know, if it wasn't for the hags, it'd be pretty darn good here. Y'all
I
could
think
just...
that's true of any location.
How about really here? I mean, you know what the Feywild has to offer.
I do.
Imagine laying down your weapons, not having anybody to worry about trying to kill you or having to kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
No having to save the world. Nobody really caring what time you get up or what time you go to bed, what you eat or what you drink.
So,
what you
Will,
do.
how long have you been a child?
Like the others, that's a tricky question.
Cantrielle wants to do an insight check on Will.
Okay.
That is going to be 19.
Beat him by 1. As he says this, he kind of avoids meeting your eyes for a moment. You can tell there's something he's not saying. And he kind of leans in a bit so that it's primarily you, and if anybody's in the immediate vicinity. So the others that are interacting with the other kids probably don't necessarily hear this. But he just kind of leans in and he says, these kids, they look up to me. They rely on me. I take care of them and I keep them safe from Granny Nightshade and being caught up and forced to work in the toy workshops of Loomlurch. And we're working on a plan to get the others out. They don't care who any of us are or who we were before. We all just look at who we are now. And as he says this, you see something shift in his eyes, and for just a moment, his eyes turn yellow with black pupils. And he blinks and they're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to work with a hag. I know what she does to those kids. I know what the people that work for her do to those kids. I know how she gets those kids. I used to work for Granny Nightshade.
Aha. Now it's making sense as to why Granny is after you with such a vengeance, and why you are helping them.
Well, it started off as something against that Granny's sisters, Bavlorna and Endolin, did, just to spite her. Those three, they're what's holding Prismeer in its pieces. And they're what captured Evangeline. They don't get along.
Of course not. They're hags and they're sisters.
Well, Endolin and Bavlorna put a curse on me.
Is that so?
But see, that's wherein lies the trick. They made me see the error of my ways. And I realized that what I was doing, working for Granny Nightshade, was horrible, evil, and no good. She was making me kidnap children to work for her. So I know all of the children that are there. I now know what needs to be done to go in there and get them out. I can atone for what I did before my eyes were opened.
Would you like some assistance with that atonement then?
I absolutely would take any help you all can offer. See, we've got a plan. And I think if we all sit down and talk things through, we can work together and figure out a way to bust all those kids out and make Granny Nightshade pay. You offering for you and your gang to help?
Let's just say it's what we do, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, that's what you said before.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get everybody together. We can make a plan.
Excellent. Find Rollo, though.
Oh, yeah. I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
They're way better than I thought.
Do you want help?
I'll whisper to him. Ask for a hug.
Two? Cantrielle?
She's down where you were the whole time. What are you talking
That's
about?
just it. Cantriella's like, she's like right over there.
Her passive has known where I am the whole time.
I'll whisper.
You see,
I'll whisper to him to ask for a hug.
he kind of gives you a wink, and then he just goes, "Man, I never thought I'd see the day where I had to admit somebody had bested Will of the Feywild in hide and seek. And if they were to show themselves, I would love to award them with a hug. But I can't find them."
And she comes running out of the bushes from
Aha!
across
There
the
you
bush.
are!
You said you gave up, and Rollo gets a hug.
Both of those are true. And he just throws his arms open for a hug.
And she pounces on him and just clings to him like a little koala.
Drown looks perplexed, like snaps his head over his shoulder from where he's talking to the elf girl and is like, I was sure she's over there.
Honestly, I didn't even care.
Really?
Meanwhile, Fig was after you declared yourself the winner to the little game you were playing. Did you pay attention to Talmud?
Yeah. Fig walks over to Talmud and offers him his hat.
And Talmud's kind of like chuckling to himself, having just seen Fig pull one over of this half orc, and he says, "Well played. Maybe you've been spending too much time around Thorgarn. Too much time around Thorgarn, for certain. Can I get a bottle of the good stuff?"
Fig looks at him for a minute and tilts his head to the side, but nods.
The Kirgin.
Reaches his whole arm into his hat, and you can hear the sound of the glass sound of clanking all together of a bunch of things as he pulls out a bottle.
There we are. Thank you, Fig. Wonderful. So, we have a few birthdays to celebrate. He turns around and looks at Bobby.
Maybe we come up with the plan before the booze flows.
Well, I mean, you want me to take part in the making of the plan?
Yes, that is what Rolo is saying. First we plan, then you drink.
At least someone around here values my opinion.
And you just see...
I value you very much, Talmud. You are valuable, Dawnbringer.
He actually chokes up a little tear in the corner of his crow-footed eye.
You just see Bobby the whole time as you're talking now, and you've got this bottle in your hand and you're sort of gesturing around. Bobby's just going, licking his lips
this will put whiskers on your chin, lad. And he opens it and hands it to him.
Wait!
Oh, nope, sorry.
First we plan.
He's like, you hand it to him and he's like,
then drink.
and then you take it away and he's just like,
little slushes out of the top.
It just makes me think of that scene in Mad Mardigan when Willow hands him the cup of water and is distracted and it just falls out of his fingertips.
Talmud? When did Rolo become the responsible adult?
When I was at the carnival.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we're gonna plan then. Let's
Right.
make a plan.
Kitty.
Loomlarch is defended by a squad of tin soldiers. But they can be lured away by distractions. The children are all being held captive in the workshop, which is haunted by boggles. They're these oily little creatures that actually spring up because of the children's misery. In her kitchen, Granny Nightshade has a prison cell where she keeps her most hated enemies. Now, we think, and Will gets down on the ground and grabs a stick and starts sketching a rough map of the Loomlarch lair and sort of starts explaining Bobby, Sloan, Zenner, and Star. They'll creep in through the woods to the west of the tree and hide out just out of sight of the screaming scarecrows. Meanwhile, we'll sneak around the entrance to the kitchen on the east side of the tree. You go through the goblin market and you pretend to be travelers. You buy some candies and sweets. See if you can arrange to have a meeting with Granny Nightshade. During that meeting, the children will alert the screaming scarecrows, he says, indicating Sloan, Bobby, and Zenner. And that's going to lure the soldiers into the garden. While everybody's distracted, you can use that opportunity to go into the workshops and free all the kids. I'll go into the textile mill, and I'll free anybody that's there. Then we all run back here. We've put a lot of thought into this.
Rollo can tell.
You see...
Talmud's already lifting the bottle.
You see that Will is very confident in this plan. Bobby, Sloan, and Zenner are not. You can see them kind of going, that's just a lot of moving piece as well. We've told them this many times. It relies on a lot of different people being in different places and different things all happening at the same time. I think these guys should go and visit the Wayward Pool and look for Lamorna.
Who is Lamorna?
Will throws his hands up in the air and he goes, Lamorna's a no good goody good.
So she's good.
Yeah, but too good.
Right.
She's just an uppity unicorn who's just too afraid to challenge Granny Nightshade.
Maybe,
What if she
maybe
did?
she needs a pep talk. And Cantrielle is really, really good at pep talks.
No, that's called sarcasm.
It hurts, and it makes you do better.
We've tried talking to Lamorna. She's just too scared. And Bobby interjects and says, "That's why I said they should go. I mean, look at that one hides better than you do, and this one talks better than you do." No.
Perhaps we can go speak with Lamorna. See what the hesitation is.
Fine. If you want to talk to that goody four shoes, you go ahead.
I think you mean 4 hooves.
I think being more good on our side is only going to make the plan better.
If the unicorn is shod, that description is still accurate.
Yes. Rollo was going to say something.
See?
Why would you shot a unicorn?
That's...
I don't know.
So that the hooves don't grow too long and make it difficult to walk, you cut the hooves back and you put little shoes on them so rocks don't split them.
Or if you have magical goat shoes.
Or if you have magical...
Where's the unicorn?
At a pool.
Zenner says, the orc girl says, you actually don't realize this, but you passed by the Wayward Pool on your way here.
Oh.
But you
I really
couldn't.
don't remember it.
You couldn't know it was there.
Tip.
How do
Only
you know it's there?
it's because we know what the secret is of the Wayward Pool. Only unicorns can reach the shore. But we've figured out that the magic protecting the pool, it can't tell the difference between a real unicorn and a pretend one.
Rolo gets to be a unicorn.
We made a unicorn costume that you can hide under.
Drown nods, like that makes perfect sense.
And we've used it to get in close and to talk to her. You could use that, or you can make a wooden unicorn horn or something and tie it to your head. That seems to be enough to get the magic to think you're a unicorn. But all of you that are going would have to do this. Because
Build a giant wooden unicorn, hide inside it.
That will take time, Drum.
I know.
Do we have it?
A giant wooden unicorn? No, not yet. We'd have to
No,
make it.
time, quite frankly,
Oh,
especially
oh.
the way this place
What-
works.
Time works different here, right?
Correct.
Rolla
then-
pulls out a bit of rations, and she crumbles them up and adds some mud and adds a little bit of water so that it's malleable. And she makes a unicorn horn and sticks it to her forehead.
okay.
A
Hardtack
salt-filled
unicorn horn. That's just the first part of it.
Okay.
Bobby runs up to the treehouse at Little Oak and climbs up the ladder, and comes back down a few moments later with a what is a wooden horse's head mounted on a stick, and it has a wooden unicorn horn attached to its brow. And then there's fabric that has this sort of dull, dirty white that 2 or 3 people, depending on their size, could hide under, while holding the fake unicorn head out in front. As he brings all this down, Zener says, once disguising yourself as a unicorn is just going to get you to the shore. There's an island in the middle of the lake. You have to get to the island, and then there's an iron bowl. You fill it with fresh coal. Start a fire, get some coals, and that'll summon Lamorna. Yeah, it's pretty
Do we
simple.
have any coal?
You make coal from burning wood.
Right, Rolo was just asking if we had some so that we did not have to take time to make coal.
Fig is going to gather up a bunch of rocks, and you see one of them after another, like popcorn. He turns the rocks into coal using his I believe he can do that with minor alchemy, changing one substance to another.
Nice.
Impressive.
Never mind. We got it.
Talmud says, well, I understand my role in all of this. And he goes and picks up the ass end of the horse costume.
Rolla, meanwhile, prestidigitates the horn to dry it so that it solidifies and isn't goopy.
Okay.
Fig wants to cast. Okay, this might be a really dumb idea, so please tell me if anything is wrong with this. But Fig wants to cast Stone Shape twice to make. Yeah, you can transform it into any shape. So he's going to make 2 halves of a unicorn. That is hollow on the inside.
Out of stone?
Mm-hmm. And yeah. And
Just-
then and then, or maybe it's, he wants to cast levitate on it. I don't know if that works at all, but he wants to make a floating stone horse that he can sit in. I don't know if that'll work. So
I'm going to allow it because I'm picturing this and I love it.
okay.
I'm just picturing this. When you made the two halves, was it the front half and the back half, or the left half to the right half?
I totally imagined like the back half, the front half, and the back half.
Like a classic horse costume.
Yeah, because
And
that's
when-
all he's seen. He's
And the levitation allows the stone-shaped, hollow, very heavy unicorn to levitate. So there's this stone unicorn that has a set of metal feet coming out of the bottom. Because it's levitating, and then you're walking it along so you can move it. Who's in the front or back?
it's gonna be him and Hermes, I think.
Oh no. That means this thing is going to go like this. It's going to be like a little slinky unicorn constantly running. Hermes running ahead.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be horrifying. This like eldritch, like stone unicorn. That thing's very
Oh,
proud.
man.
I love this. I love
Well,
everything.
I mean,
about
the last session, we had carnivorous pumpkin squash snails, so this is on brand. And you turned using popcorn. You turned I'll think of it in a moment. Rocks into coal. I'm just looking for what these things are called here a moment. Where are they? Oh, well, that's easy enough. I was looking for the name of something, and then when I saw the name, I'm like, duh. Because of the Feywild, when you turn these rocks and they just sort of and turn into coals, they are little animated coals, like the ones at Bavlorna's cauldron. But they're loyal to you, and they will run around like the little soots in Spirited Away, but they will actually listen to you for the most part.
I have concerns about that for the
Concerning
most part.
caveat, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Fig's got a lot on their plate right now with turning rocks into animated coal and creating a 2-part levitating hollow Trojan unicorn.
Wait!
But
Can Rolo get in with this disguise? Because technically Rolo is an alicorn. Rolo have wings and horn. Should Rolo be head of horse?
I mean, we've gone in there with just a wooden horn attached to our head. It's worked.
Okay, Rolo try it.
mm-hmm.
I mean, the absolute worst that'll happen is you just won't be able to find the pool.
Rolo goes over and like flies over and sits on Talmud's head, I guess it would be, like the ass end of the horse.
Okay. Who's the front end of the horse?
Thorgarn was going to be if nobody else was interested.
That makes sense.
That
Why does
leaves-
it make sense?
Drown's not going to try.
That leaves
Cantrielle's taking
Drown
one of her
and
candles,
Cantrielle.
and Cantrielle's taking one of her candles, and while everyone's been doing their various things, she's basically used her dagger and whittled herself a unicorn horn out of her candle, and she's quickly lit the one end and just used the softly melted wax to stick it against her forehead.
Okay.
How accurate do these horns have to be?
I mean, and Will's walking around looking at everybody. These all look really good. I mean, it
Thank you.
basically just needs to kind of look like a unicorn, like a horn coming out of your head. Like I said, it's magic, but it's not very smart magic.
All right. So Drown will take a piton out of his backpack and a little bit of leather cord and sort of tie around it and fashion it to like tie it to his forehead. So his little metal spikes sticking off of his forehead.
Rolo, just remember Rolo is wizard.
And she takes the mud and hardtack horn off and casts prestidigitation to give herself a little horn.
Well, that looks
And you can create like a trinket.
a
so-
lot better.
Yes!
And
she
it even
starts
looks
eating
like
the horn.
obviously magical and glittery and glowy.
And she starts eating the old horn.
There's mud in that.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Ale made dirt, dirt won't hurt.
Well, you all look ready to find Wayward Pool.
Nay.
Can Rolo still ride Thorgarn into battle?
Well, I mean,
I guess it would be Thormite, actually.
Thormud.
The Thormacorn.
Thormacorn!
Oh my god.
Thornicorn.
Yes! Rolo loves Thormacorn! Thormacorn is magnificent steed!
All right. With all of your disguises, man, if you can see what's in my head, and I think you can, this is quite the sight. So let me be clear here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unicorns. Unicorns heading for the Wayward Pool.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, you're right, 5. I forgot about Hermes.
Yes.
So, the children sort of point you in the right direction and put you on a path, and they say, if you just follow this way, you will see the lake in a very short time. And damn it, Jeremy. They leave you too as your merry band of unicorns heads into the woods. After a little while, maybe about 20 or 30 minutes of walking, drifting, whatever it is you're doing, grumbling underneath this unicorn makeshift costume or whatever, there is a point where you start to feel a little bit of a compulsion to turn and go a different direction. And it lasts for just a moment as you all sort of hesitate in your steps a little bit. And then you sort of push through, and then suddenly you're on the other side of whatever this compulsion was. And you can see about 1,000 feet ahead, through breaks in the trees, you can see the misty shoreline of a small lake. The mist is drifting and curling as you approach. The forest, there's little craggy cliffs all around the lake, with forest pressing right up to the edge of it. And mossy rocks are near the shallow ends, and you can see near the center of the lake, there is indeed an island. It looks to be about 250 feet from the shoreline.
I cast Tensor's floating disc.
Okay, Talmud and Thorgarn
overboard? Does this unicorn steps up on this Tinser's footing this?
Quite awkwardly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um,
It's very great.
Fish, can you cast one for the 3 of you? 4 of you. Maybe take 2 people over and then come back and get 2 people.
Because it can hold up to 500 pounds.
How deep is the water?
It's hard to tell from here. It looks plenty deep.
Does your ring require attunement, Jeremy?
I don't remember if it.
I mean,
You have
I'm not-
Ring of Water walking?
he does.
Okay, then you get off this and walk on water. And I take Cantrielle. Actually, no, I take Fig on mine. And, no, not Fig. I take Drown on mine. And Fig, you take Cantrielle.
I will crush that disc.
You weigh more than 500 pounds?
Yes.
Oh, you're big boy.
I'm
Roll.
almost 8 feet tall.
We were talking about rudeness before.
Observation.
Not sensitive about my weight. It's fine.
I'm sorry, Drown.
It's no problem.
Okay.
I mean-
then Drown, you swim, and Rolo and Fig prestidigitate you on other side.
That'll work.
Spellcasters, make an Arcana or Insight
And I
check.
can tow the levitating horse across.
I realized as I said spellcasters, that's basically everybody except for Talmud. Make an Arcana or an Insight check.
Arcana.
27.
Horses act.
Shit. 25.
Well, it's definitely
Good
Arcana.
lord.
12.
Level 14, y'all.
Yeah.
27.
You're muted, Ted.
Ed, you're muted, baby.
It's all right. I brought the low number. Insight of 10. I rolled like crap.
So, Thorgarn, you don't realize this, but the others of you realize that the unicorn disguises have served their purpose. That barrier that you felt yourself pushing through seemed to be whatever magical barrier required the unicorn disguise.
Rolo still has a horn.
Not to say that you can't keep your unicorn disguises. You absolutely can. You just don't have to.
I was going to say, whoever it is that realizes that, if they choose to share that information with the party, I imagine it's only after Talmud has like walked halfway across the distance with like the legs of the horse costume like hiked up to like his thighs, and he's walking across the top of the water.
Rolla does not have her horn because it only lasts till the end of your next turn, and she's been talking too much to be casting.
Okay.
Rolo is sad.
So,
I like being an alley kobold.
So everybody's either what? Is everybody going across? Are you either floating, flying?
Yeah.
Flying or swimming. I think Drown is deciding to swim.
Fig, are you just doing your usual walk across the bottom kind of thing, or were you doing something else?
Fig's gonna take a really good look at the water. I think he's going to cast Detect Magic.
On the water?
Well, just in general. He just wants
Well,
to see
yeah.
if there's anything.
The range is 30 feet, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only magic you're detecting is all of the usual sources on you and your companions. Nothing is
Sure.
pinging from the water, from the ground around you. Drown, did
Okay.
you go swimming? Did you dive in?
I mean, yeah, when we're ready to go, I'll swim and also tow the levitating stone unicorn.
So,
across.
Drown, you would know then, and plus with just your natural affinity for the water, that this pool is where did it go? The pool is at its deepest appears to be 30 feet deep. It's cool, fresh, clean water. And you, at least in the immediacy as you jump in, you see some of the usual things you would expect in a freshwater body of water. some fish of different sizes, a couple turtles, that kind of thing. And you would be able to see that from the shore, there's a few rocks in the shallows, and then it kind of drops off very suddenly. But it seems to be a relatively even bottom of the lake. It's a bit silty in places. And there's a few waterlogged logs and tree branches and things like that. But nothing that should impose any kind of major barriers for Fig if they were to walk across.
Oh, that's right. We don't need to tow the unicorn.
So, everybody's conveying themselves in one way or another across the lake. It's about 200 what did I say, 250 feet, and it doesn't take you terribly long to make your way across this island, which appears to be about 30 feet by 40 feet. And at the highest point, you see a few bits of foliage here on this whole islet. It's nothing more than tall grasses, a couple shrubs. But at its highest point, in the middle of the island, you see that there is an iron bowl that's about 3 feet across. Excuse me. And you can see on the inside of this where it looks like fires have been lit.
Fig, it's your show.
I think Fig has like come out of the water. He did choose to walk across, and he's like looking around, and he's quite impressed of what he sees. Sorry, I missed it. What was the iron?
It's a 3-foot diameter iron bowl, basically like a brazier is what it looks like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fig is going to take the pieces of coal that he made, and is going to plop 1 or 2 in.
Herd them into the bowl.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. He's gonna scoop them up. Oh my goodness. My Studio Ghibli life. It's so happy. He like scoops them up.
Yeah, as you kind of let them, they hop out of your pocket or wherever you had them. I just picture these, you're sort of herding them along, and there's a couple of them that seem to, like a little one that's a little bit smaller that's like runs forward after him and kind of trips and falls. One of the other one walks over and kind of helps it up. And then after a couple moments, the half a dozen or so of these animated coals, they just form a chain holding one another's hands as they begin to move their way towards where you guide them towards this bowl. And then as they get there, you help them up. And the one that had helped the smaller one when it fell over stands there on your hand and just sort of guides the others, helping them down as they slide down into the bowl. Like, for them, this is a very large bowl as they slide down inside, and they all gather around one another in the middle and turn and look expectantly at you.
We'll have idea. That would be good enough. Right, we'll get on one side, Fig get on the other, and we prestidigitate sparks down on them so that they ignite.
Fig nods, quite enthusiastically.
And Rolo will go to the far side of the bowl.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
And they rain sparks down on the little coals to ignite them.
And the little animated coals begin to run around the inside of this bowl like children running in rain, as they're just... One of them has its head tilted up, and they're just running around in there, and as the sparks are raining down on them, you see them until all of the coals ignite. And as they burst in the flame, rising off the top of their heads, they grab one another's hands and they form a circle, and they start dancing around on the inside of this bowl. And as they do so, you notice that the flame begins to grow a little brighter, and it turns from this orange-yellow flame to suddenly begins to glow in from the white hot to up through shades of pink. And then another one of the animated coals begins to glow with a sort of indigo, and another one in green, and another in yellow, until they're all glowing with the various shades of the spectrum of the rainbow. And this chromatic flame just starts to kind of mingle, and you see little sparks begin to crackle in the air above it. And after about a minute of this, Cantrielle, you see back on the shore where you came from, where there's an outcropping of rocks, you hear this almost like sound of wind chimes, and then you look and you watch as a pure white unicorn, seeming to move in slow motion, climbs up onto the outcropping of rocks. And it sort of tilts its head, shakes it back, and you can just faintly hear the...
That was a really good whinny.
And it looks in your direction. And that's where we're going to take our break. As you have summoned Lamorna, the unicorn.
Yay.
All right. We are going to take about a 10-minute break and hope to see you on the other side while we finish up this session of The Last Unicorn. See you in about 10 minutes.
Button, Frank.
Right?
Push it.
No, you pushed button. I pushed a button.
Did you say...
Elevator go down
Oh,
the
you said-
hole.
Push it. I thought you said, oh shit.
What about
I
it?
mean,
Bullshit?
it could be either one.
I mean, we've come back from break in much stranger ways. Let's be honest.
It's true.
All right. So, on the shoreline is the unicorn. Do you all just turn and head back the way you came?
I am going to fly onto Cantriel's shoulder and do my mink stole thing.
This is getting interesting because she's got Star too, kind of tucked in her arms, so she's like bard looking druidish right up now.
Gonna say cat
Laden
lady,
with
but, you know.
critters.
Laden with critters.
I'm not a druid, really.
So, sorry, did you say that the unicorn is on the island or
Where is that?
back on the main
No,
shore?
it's back on the
Shoreline.
shore where you came from. The island was the way that you summoned it.
So does it like
There we go.
acknowledge us?
It's there, standing there where you came from, and it seems to be waiting for you.
Well, I say we go
Back we go.
talk to it.
Talmud, like, you know, just getting out of like the rear end of the, you know, horse costume, and then everybody else is like packing up and starting to head back out, and he just like reaches down and like collects the costume and turns and walks back out over the water.
All right. As you all approach in your various ways, There we go. Who would be in the lead? That's what I need to know.
Probably Cantrielle and Rolo.
So, when the two of you get within about 60 feet of her, you feel and hear in your mind a voice. Who are you, and why have you come to thither? Why do you summon me?
I'm Cantrielle. This is Rolo.
Hello.
These are our friends. We've come here to assist our friend Evangeline. And we think you might be of some help with a certain group of hags.
You stand against the Hourglass Coven.
Yes?
Then until you prove otherwise, you are a friend. Come forth. And she sort of moves away from the edge of where she was up on this outcropping, and she comes closer, and you notice that as she was talking, the water seemed to the surface of the water seemed to almost look like rain was hitting it, but it's actually like the very surface of the water was sort of scattering a little and rising up, and anybody who is moving through the water basically is able to move the equivalent of a dash action as the water is propelling you forward magically until you all arrive on shore. Some of you probably dripping wet, others almost stubbornly dry from walking across the top.
Maybe a little freaked out.
Yeah.
Maybe just
Well, you could have ridden on the disc because there was only. Oh wait, no, that's right. Cantrielle and Thorgarn were on the disc. Never mind. You're walking across water.
yeah. It was just with it lifting up and like moving me of its own accord. That's definitely not really.
Oh yeah.
Aesthetic with
Each time you take it, it's like moving on a moving sidewalk, except it's water. Every step you take sort of moves you forward.
Watch our step.
As eventually you're all standing around Lamorna, the unicorn.
So Thorgarn would offer greetings in Celestial.
And you would hear back in Celestial, you would hear, greetings to you, servant of Moradin.
So what was it, the cast-off gang?
Getaway gang.
The getaway gang. So those that call themselves the getaway gang, they see that they say that you are reluctant to aid, to seek a conversation and see if there's anything that you might be able to do to assist us.
I can offer you the Wayward Pool as a place of rest and a safe haven, if you mean to stand against the Hourglass Coven.
Certainly do.
Then you will have sanctuary here. This domain of Prismia, as you seem to have already become aware, was once under the uncontested rule of Evangeline, the Archfey. But she was tricked by her cool hag stepsisters, Scabatha Nightshade, Davlorna Brightstar, and Endolin Moongrave. Nobody would say that Evangeline was a perfect ruler. She was vainglorious and deceitful at times. But her magic kept Prismia safe and isolated. The Hourglass Coven The Hourglass Coven took from me my mate, Eladon, and they stole his horn, and they used its magic to imprison Evangeline in her stronghold, the Palace of Heart's Desire. Eladon's horn was used in the ritual to imprison her, and you may need it to free her. I don't know where Eladon is. I cannot reach him with my telepathy. I think that Scabatha Nightshade is holding him prisoner. I feel that if he had died, I would have been able to feel it. So I don't think that he is gone.
How would we recognize him?
It would be the unicorn missing a horn.
Anybody that has, as they're talking to Lamorna, anybody that has their doesn't have their back to the water, that has a view of the water, would notice that as she is telling you all of this, the water is animating, and you see, made out of water, the form of Evangeline, and you see the image of what must be Eladon. You see two unicorns together, and then you see the Hourglass Coven separate them, and you see a cage of water covering one of the unicorns, and then a quick motion of water and a splash, and the horn is suddenly animated in the hands of the hags as they seem to be casting a ritual over a cauldron. Please, if you are the heroes I sent you to be, you may be the only ones who have a chance to free Evangeline and save Prismia from the Hourglass Coven. If you have been making your way through the fragments of Prismia, you are successful in dealing with Scabatha Nightshade, then you will be traveling to Yon next, the Lair of Endolin Moongrave. While you are there, seek out Imidor the Dandelion. They are knowledgeable of the Palace of Heart's Desire. Anytime you need rest, you may find it here. And you will gain the benefits of the Wayward Pool. And she explains to you that no non-magical flames, except for the bowl on the island, can persist in this area. Beasts and fae So if you are a beast or fae, you have advantage on all dexterity stealth checks made while you are in this region. And if you are exhausted or cursed, or you have an attunement to a cursed magical item, you can bathe in the water for 1 minute and end one of those effects.
Do I count as a beast?
Cool.
I don't actually know for kobolds.
No, you're a dragon.
Okay.
Humanoid.
Oh yeah, humanoid.
Arr.
So that's all she said for the moment. Does anybody have any questions for her or anything they want to say to Lamorna?
Rolla, think you are very pretty.
She bows her head. And I think that Rollo is also a very beautiful kobold.
Really? Rollo would like to hug one of your legs. Would that be okay?
You hear in your mind what sounds like a little bit of laughter. And then she sort of steps forward as if offering one of her forelegs.
Oh, Rolla flies off of Cantriel's shoulders and just wraps her little arms around the leg and like nuzzles her head up against it.
I never thought that I would see the day that I got to hug a unicorn. Thank you.
Talmud's kind of scratching his head. So, do you eat grass, or... These are the deep places that Talmud's mind goes to when he confronts, otherworldly beings.
I sustain myself on that which my Aliki has provided. Yes,
Right.
my dwarven friend, that includes grass. You should try it.
Oh, no. Not a vegetable kind of person. Tarts. I'll eat tarts, but they're not vegetables.
If you run into any difficulties, as I said, you will have sanctuary here. And I may be able to help you in the future. When Evangeline ruled Prismia, no one could enter her palace without an invitation. It is, however, unlikely that the Hourglass Coven is incapable of enforcing similar restrictions on this palace. But be warned, Evangeline's palace has a dragon-like creature called the Jabberwock that lives within the palace and frequently prowls the forest. I have seen it flying overhead. It tries to find my pool, but the magic turns it away.
Dragons aren't exactly problematic for us.
Jabberwocky.
I would
So it's
like
tracks.
to know, because I don't think I can quickly look at everybody's. What is everyone's passive perception?
9.
13.
10.
15.
22.
Cantriel's like peasants.
Right?
X-ray vision.
I can see through time.
Cantrielle, as you as you say, dragons aren't exactly an issue for us. There is a sudden flurry of motion from the trees in the surrounding area. And all of you, except for Cantrielle, are surprised by the 5 dragonborn that suddenly appear, wielding swords and crossbows, and they are all red dragonborn. And I need you all to roll for initiative. Because they also appear to be making a beeline for Lamorna the unicorn.
I'm gonna use a domain die because we have 100 billion.
Yep.
No, I'll do the same thing.
Okay.
Oh, almost diametric opposites. I went from a 2 to a 20.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, so Thorgarn, you got a 20?
22. 22.
22. Cantrielle?
Dirty 20.
Fig, I got a 15 for you. Talmud.
Talmud got an 11.
Drown is an 18. Rolo is a 22.
Natural 20 for a 22.
Nice.
Same.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to bust out my newly
You're taller, so you
3D
can go
printed
first.
and painted skull dice tower, because why not? Not to intimidate
it's
you all.
beautiful. I saw it on Twitter.
Okay, that does not bode well for Lamorna. And that's gonna be. Okay. So Rolo, as all of a sudden you see this explosion of motion as 5 total dragonborn emerge from the edges, and they're sort of in this half circle around where you all are talking to Lamorna. You see Lamorna suddenly starts pawing at the ground, almost kicking you off, Rolo, as she turns in a sudden circle and just rears up on her hind legs as these dragonborn are closing in. What would you like to do, Rolo?
I was actually going to let Thorgarn go first, if that's okay.
Are you going to hold your action?
Well, I just want to we both got a 22.
Oh yeah, you did.
So since he's taller, I was going to let him go first because we have the same dex mod.
All right. Thorgarn.
How far away are they?
They're within 30 feet.
All right. I'm gonna just, I'll charge right into the cluster of them. I'll rage and swing away. I'm going to use a domain die because that sucked. That is a dirty 20. And that is another dirty 20.
All right, those are going to hit.
So 15 and
Hold on a second. I don't know what happened, but this Dragonborn has 7,850 hit points. That's not right.
That's wrong.
That's not right. Sorry, it's an ancient.
A lot of super crits.
It is an ancient Dragonborn. I'm like, what just happened here?
Hear a rustle in the forest, and then this big, buff dragonborn just.
It's like kaiju.
You just made me spit monster all over my desk.
How
Oh,
apt.
man.
I mean, we've handled 1,000 or 50. What's 7,000?
Right. Yeah, this isn't a Dragonborn. This is the Dragonborn, like Tarask.
So it's 3 rounds, maybe?
Right. Okay, so Talmud. No damage. So close. Thorgarn.
Not even on your birthday, man.
Thorgarn. How much damage did you do?
All right, so I had given you the numbers, but I forgot to add in rage on top of that. So 15, 9 plus 4 is 28.
Okay. So yeah, you get some good blows in on this first red dragonborn. And you see that 4 of them, as they're kind of moving around, they seem to be a little more lithe, slender, and one of them seems to be a little more buff. And sorry, I misspoke. They are not dragonborn. They are half dragons. There is a difference. Okay. So Thorgarn, is that your full turn?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that like I'm positioned and trying to block their path as best as possible. Now, clearly, like there's ways to go around me, but
okay. Rolo.
Sorry, the change of their creature type messed up my plan. Rolo is going to fly up and kind of hover over the unicorn.
Sorry, I literally don't remember what I just said. So I'm going to clarify.
They weren't dragonborn.
Sorry.
They were half dragon, which changes
the four lithe ones are half dragons. The other one is a dragonborn, the buff one.
Okay. Then I will, on the buff one, I just want to verify that I'm correct. Half dragon puts them into a monster type rather than a person type,
They're
right?
actually humanoids.
They're all humanoids?
The half dragons are. Oh yeah, so is the dragonborn.
In that case, the half dragons. Wait, let me do some math here. 1, 3, 4, 5. The half dragons, I am going to cast Hold Person at 5th level in order to paralyze the half dragons. So I need a Wisdom saving throw for each of them.
For how many? All of them?
DC, yeah, for 4 of them, the 4 lithe ones.
Okay. Sorry, wisdom that was?
Yes, DC 18.
Okay. So that's going to be... 1 fails. Jeez. Another one fails. I'm rolling single digits here. Oh my gosh. 8, 4, 4. And the last one is a 19.
Okay, so 3 of them are held. And then...
Oh. Okay. Hold person on all 3. Got it.
Yeah. 3 of them are held. No bonus action. My movement, I'm just going to stay above the unicorn just because Rolo's like completely in love with the idea of a unicorn.
All right. Cantrielle.
All right, so Cantrielle is going to put her attention on big and bulky, and she's going to use her Slayer's Prey for this first shot and go in with Sempre. Although no dragony bonuses, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure you're throwing around the word dragon. You gotta make sure.
Yeah, that's
A couple
fair.
of us, you know. All right, so first shot is going to be a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, so then that is 15, 19 total.
Okay. As you hone in on this bulky dragonborn, you see that part of his bulk is because he's wearing plate armor, but it is also almost the same red as his scales. But as you take aim and loose your shots, then you can see the armor. Sorry, was that 15 you said, or was it higher?
19.
19, okay.
19. Okay, so that's first shot. She'll go in with second shot then. Also with an arrow. That is going to be a 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
And then that is 12 piercing. And
All
then
right.
she's going to bonus action and shout to Talmud, maybe not the type of dragons we normally like, but we can still get some damage in. And Bardic Inspiration.
All right. Drown.
All right. So 3 of them are held. The big plate armored one is still mobile, right?
Correct.
Okay. And some people are already up there mixing it up with them.
Cantriel's
So-
at range. Thorgarn is right up on one of the ones that's
Thorgarn
held.
went in, so
Yeah, he's on one of the ones that's now currently held.
all right, so I think Drown will just kind of throw his hand out in a spray of seawater and sort of shimmering green light. That great sword with gold chasing and barnacles and coral will appear in his hand, and he'll charge straight at that Dragonborn.
All right.
Throw a hex on him as a bonus action, and make some attacks. Well, that's a hit and a critical hit and a domain die spent.
Okay.
We'll do that. Here. All right, so that's... This is spells, not my actions. Where's my sword? There it is. So that's 18 on the normal hit. And, oh, good lord. 10, 20, 32, 34, yeah, 37 damage on the critical.
Nice.
Wow. As you are right up in this guy's face dealing with him, you see now that part of the ridge of his brow and some of the other ones where they have these sort of draconic crests, you can see now the leather straps that are holding carved wooden unicorn horns on their head that they used to breach the magic to get even this close.
All right, I'm done.
Okay, Fig, you are up. Or Fig and Co, I should say.
Fig in the gang.
Fig.
Picking the figgies.
Big in the news.
So Fig is going to try and get within 30 feet of all 5 of the dragonlings,
Okay.
if you can.
You can get up to 3 of them in one shot. If you're trying to, you can get within 30 feet of 3 of them. Let me see. Wait, let me see if my math is right here. Well, if you maneuver
Even if
yourself, I guess you could, because they're in sort of a semicircle. So yeah, you could get within 30 feet of all.
Okay.
5
I was
of
going to
them.
say, even if he has to take a attack of opportunity, he would. He wants to try and get all of them within the 30 feet. If he can. So, technically, his simulacrum goes after him, but just for narrative's sake, I imagine that him and his simulacrum run up at the same time. They both look at each other, give each other like this little nod, and you see like these arm blades flash out from both from Fig's arm, and they are going to both cast Steel Wind Strike on all
I knew that's what.
5.
As you started describing it, I'm like, oh my gosh. This is that classic moment where we've already seen Fig go super anime with this before. Now it's twice as as powerful.
And they go in
I
reverse. I
love
imagine they
this
go
spell.
like opposite around the semicircle.
Oh my.
Like a Kurosawa moment.
Mhm.
Just gonna stop it and they just fall apart.
So that's a 24, a 27, a natural 20.
Yeah.
24 and
Oh,
a
that person is
1.
owned.
So that's just for you, right?
That's just for me. We're gonna deal with that for now,
Yeah.
and then we'll...
So
those
that
are
was
all
so was that the third one that you got the crit on?
the
Yes.
third one. Yeah.
That's the Dragonborn. Because it was half dragon, Dragonborn, half dragon.
Sweet. Okay.
Crit magic.
Oh, babe.
1, 39, 41 points of damage. I'm gonna skip over the nat 20.
All right. So
For a
wait,
second.
it's 39 and then 41.
Yep.
Do a. All right, continue. I gotta check something.
Okay, and then it's a 33. And then a 44. God. And then so it's max plus roll, right, for crit? Fig never gets a crit, so this is very exciting.
I
so
completely
that's-
forgot about that. I just rolled double dice. Oh well, it's fine.
So then that's going to be 104.
Wow.
No. Yes, because max is 60 plus I rolled a 44, so that's 104
Yeah. 60 10. Holy crap.
points of damage.
100 and how many?
104.
4. Oh, excellent.
Okay. Okay.
So then my simulacrum.
All right. Hold on. For some reason, my hit points didn't. All right, let me do this. I don't know why they did this. One
It's
second.
like, hey, Jake, nice encounter you got there. It would be a shame if anything.
Yeah, I
happened
kind of
to
feel.
I just want to point out that all these, the Dragonborn and the half dragons, they fucked around. Now they're finding out.
Fig
Oh,
apparently is
you-
really mad.
You did remember that the paralyzed ones are all auto crits, right?
Oh, that's right.
That's what I was gonna check on. Was if they're held, there's got to be some other thing for that.
You have advantage to hit them, and any hit from within 5 feet is a critical hit.
So does that 60 then to all of that? All those?
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
That's 60 on top of what you rolled,
I'm
Yeah.
Which
pretty
means-
sure
just, yeah, so
Which
just
you-
add 60 damage to all
which
those.
means you did 100. I'm gonna call it just so we don't have to go back and figure it all out, because you were doing an
104
average of
damage
40
and
points of
100.
damage per, or 44 points. So I would say that 104 will apply to all of them.
Now the simulacrum gets to go.
Yeah,
Hold on.
and do the
Yeah,
same
and-
thing.
Score crits on.
And then he didn't roll under a 22 on his rolls.
Those are all hits. Describe what this looks like and how Fig single-handedly kills all 5 of these draconic assassins.
Oh my god.
Didn't even get to take a turn.
Sorry. Wow, that's wow. Did you want to bring out that 8,000?
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that was sitting here going, all right, you want to do this? Here comes an ancient dragon. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no, it's describe it. This is your moment, Fig. You just went
Super Saiyan.
You went ham.
Fig
Ham
looks-
and die.
Yeah, ham and I.
Die.
Mostly
Ham
die.
and kill.
Yeah. Eviscerate.
Ham and murder.
So Fig and his simulacrum, they give each other that nod, and the simulacrum has like a small knife with him, and Fig has like the full arm blade that he like whips out from his arm, and you can see that as the simulacrum is going around this semicircle, I imagine with them being held and incapacitated, they don't even have any reaction. Fig and the simulacrum, just you see as they like appear and disappear and reappear back over, and the ones that are held, they just crumple to the ground, like without a sound, without anything. It's almost eerily silent as Fig is doing this. All you can see is the the blue mist of magic that is surrounding these dragonborns as he appears and reappears. And lastly, when he gets to that dragonborn, the one that's left, just absolutely takes that arm blade and cuts the dragonborn at the head. And it's one of those moments where it's just like the very tropey, like you don't even see the blade go through, but then the head starts slowly like rolling off the body and rolls down, and pretty soon all that is left is the acrid scent of Arcana and that blue mist just kind of floating lazily in the breeze. And you see Fig he has this blade, he puts it back into his arm, kind of, smacks his hands together. It's like, now we can get back to talking.
That was not the music that should have played.
That's pretty perfect, actually.
Actually,
like
it did
it.
kind of work.
Thomas like standing there with his hand like on the hat of Gerda, like just like. Well.
Yep. Drown is just frozen, like mid pivot, going, just looking around as they all just.
I guess I got angry for no reason.
You even see that that Lamorna, the unicorn, looks as if she was about to bolt. And she settles down, kind of pawing at the ground for a moment, and then she kind of settles down a little bit. And you hear in your mind, then it is true. You are the heroes we've been waiting for. And the fate of Prismia lies with you. Anybody looking at the bodies would see that.
I actually want to search the bodies. I'm hoping to find a note. I'm starting with the Dragonborn. I'm hoping to find a note or some sort of documentation about who sent them after the unicorn.
I would give Rolo a hand. I'm curious to gather whatever intel we can.
Hold on one moment. Where'd it go?
Just real quick, I gotta say, high five.
Really badass.
As you,
so cool.
as you,
So nasty.
as you start, searching, the couple of you start searching the bodies. You see Lamorna sort of paces back and forth amongst them and kind of looks over to Fig and your simulacrum, where if you've sheathed your arm blades, I imagine there's sprays of blood across your front, as she just looks at you and you hear, as impressive as that was, it would have been useful to have at least one of them to speak with.
Can anyone revivify?
Oh, I can speak with dead.
That worked too.
At least I used to be able to. Can I still do that? Hold on. I think so. Yeah, still can do it. Yeah, haven't used it in a while, but still there.
So
Might be a little rusty.
Thorgarn and Rollo, you find nothing more than the crossbows and some pretty standard short swords, a great axe that the Dragonborn was wielding. However, and Rollo, I don't know if you would immediately notice this or not, although being kobold, perhaps you would. Give me a history check, Rollo. But Thorgarn, you would absolutely notice that
14.
the Dragonborn, so you probably wouldn't have direct knowledge of this unless whatever you've picked up from the rest of the Dawnbringers, though. The Dragonborn has a device on his where did it go? I would say it would be on his armor, where sort of like a cloak, a device that's holding his cloak to his plate, and on that device is a sigil of a Chardalon.
I don't think Rollo would know what that is.
So I would pull that out and just kind of like toss that out in amidst the group. And just...
Yeah, Cantrielle knows what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, snarl at it.
Oh, that's great. Granddaddy's calling card.
Looks like he's got less playthings now.
Good.
This is very concerning.
He usually visit the Feywild?
With Evangeline captured, the defenses of Prismia are weakened. If agents of this dragon were able to get access to a crossing, there would be nothing to challenge them. It is curious why they would seek out me, though.
It's not you. It's us.
They were here for us, not you.
She
Did
paused.
they appear to be running at us or the unicorn?
They were making a go at the unicorn.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And they all have what's left of them have wooden unicorn horns that have been strapped to their foreheads.
Yeah.
If you are able to speak with them, then perhaps you can find out why it is that they are here, and why they were seeking me and or you.
Do you know anything about the dragon Chardalon?
I know of the legends of a fey-touched druid by the name of Dyad that long ago destroyed the great worm's living body. But it is said that echoes of this great worm reverberate throughout the multiverse. That he has taken shelter in another plane, biding his time. Beyond that, I don't know. But it seems you have ties to a Chardalon.
Some that bind.
I must admit, I cannot see a connection between our current plight, these assassins, and their affiliation with the Chardalon. But if you are able to discern something, then perhaps that will aid you in your quest. While I do not condemn you for your action, I will not stand and bear witness to that sort of magic. If you need my assistance, you know how to summon me. And she rears up, and as she does so, you see just this prismatic, sparkling light that is just almost too bright to look at, and then she's gone. And as she dissipates, and you see any shapes that had been sort of taking place in the water, there's just sort of a sploosh, and then it sort of settles in, and we see the bodies of these dragon assassins lying on the ground, and somewhere high overhead you hear the draconic scream of the Jabberwock. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Woo! That was a good session.
Oh my gosh, Em! Holy cow!
Damn, Em!
Was
I gotta say, M MVP, but major assist from Rolo for those crits. And yes, I might have made a slight misstep in some things behind the scenes, but this is the Dawnbringers, yo.
We brought the dawn.
Yes, you did.
It's one of the most incredible things that I love about Dungeons and Dragons. Is like you can end up with this weird combination of spells or whatever that just happen to overlay one another, and then you stop and think about the logistics of how it plays out, and you're like, oh damn. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
I'm loving
incredible.
Team Wizard for the
a big part of my strategy relied on these half dragons rolling better for initiative. Honestly, they rolled really poorly compared to all of you.
Last?
What's that?
Did they go last?
No, actually, they were next. All of my dragons were next,
Nice.
Damn.
and there would have been some hurt, but that was not the fate that was to be in this world. No, it would have gone all of my dragon assassins, then Talmud. Talmud was last in the order. Actually, Lamorna rolled a 4
Beautiful.
in the initiative order.
Ooh.
So this, if it wasn't for
Talmud's kind of magic.
if it wasn't for that combo of Hold Person and the Super Saiyan Fig in the Simulacrum, things would have gone very, very differently. And yeah, that was epic. I mean, you combine, because we didn't really total up the damage from your Simulacrum, because at that point it was moot. They were all down to less than 50 hit points each. You were
Just out of
doing over
curiosity-
200 points of damage to each of them.
Just out of curiosity, do we really not have a Revivify in this group?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. I was
So-
like, holy crap.
I will absolutely next week we'll pick up where right where we left off, if that's the route you guys want to take. I was just looking at the clock and realizing this could lead into a much longer role-playing thing, and figured we'll get into that
This will give us
at a
time
new
to think of
session.
our
Oh, I
questions.
have raised dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
better. Okay.
I can
regardless
speak to dead and I can raise dead. They can do a couple
Regardless, when
things with the dead.
you start dabbling in necromancy, and Lamorna wasn't comfortable being around it, and excuse themselves, and you have a safe haven at the Wayward Pool now.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in to watch tonight, and thank you for those who subscribed and helped support with domain dice. We greatly appreciate it, and I stand by. Obviously, this wasn't the thing that was going to challenge them and make them need to use domain dice. But I stand by that it will be a thing at some point, maybe. But yeah, thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you if you were somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background and maybe not participate in the chat. We appreciate you all the same, and hope you enjoyed our presentation as well.
Before we go, reminder about tomorrow.
D&D Jordan Lee. Oh! Wait, someone playing Dorktales.
Katie's looking at raids. Ted's thinking about what's happening tomorrow night.
Ted, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he said, "Where are we going?" I'm sorry.
No, he said before we go.
Oh, I'm pretty.
Gorgeous.
Go ahead, Ted. You can tell them about tomorrow.
Come on over to Nerdarchy YouTube tomorrow night, 8 p.m. For the next session of Untraditionally Arcane. You can join myself, Jake, and some other wonderful people as we continue on with that ongoing campaign for session 17.
And I'm going to...
Can I do a quick pitch?
Sure.
Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. D4 RPG on Twitch. We've split the party. We've split the party to the point that we're all going into big, nasty, like Nemesis level fights individually.
Smart.
So this Sunday, you can catch me and Viomiliana's adventures. And next Sunday, you can catch Harold, Karina, and Venley's adventure. So it's going to be a little different. It's going to be kind of stressful, but it's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
Can I plug something?
Sure.
I have a character in Idle Champions now. If you want to have some fun.
It's so awesome!
Hey!
If you want to have some fun, download Idle Champions for free, and you can unlock Veronica for the current event right now and have some fun with my lovely little Dark Lord lady.
She's delightful.
I love it.
V, you're a character in a game.
I know, it's weird.
Jeremy M, Dan, you got anything to plug? Since everybody else is plugging stuff. Jeremy, I know you've got something to plug.
Yeah, I've got a game coming up Monday night over on my YouTube channel on the Erasmus Expedition.
I wasn't talking about that. I mean, you can plug that, but I was talking about the things you have available for sale.
Oh, yeah, that too. Over on Drive-Thru RPG under the Erasmus Expeditions, you can find 3 copies of the game that I designed called the Expedition Engine, called Black Hearts on Blue Seas, Monster Jungle, and Dead End. And then I've got a couple of DM tools on there, like an initiative tracker and a stat block sheet and a crit hits and miss chart that you can download. So yeah, head over there and check it out.
All right, and I'll give. I do have a raid queued up in just a moment for a Style Pixie. We're gonna send a raid over there. On Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern is our Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, where I DM a wonderful group that now includes M as Togo the Turtle Paladin. M has joined us over there and been with us for 2 or 3 weeks now, I believe, and is a regular member of the party over there. And I think that's it for now. You'll want to stay tuned. Because we have a show coming, a new stream coming to MTD that is going to happen sometime in September. We're not quite ready to tell you what it is, but very soon, after we have our session 0, which we're doing next week, and we get everything in order, we'll announce that. But I will tell you, while it will be here, I'm not DMing it. It's an entirely different DM. All right, well, the last thing I want to say before we go then, and raid over to a Style Pixie, is of course a huge thank you to these amazing players who I am so stoked that we're all around the table again. And I just love playing with. I'd have to check the date. I don't think it's this week, but we are super close within the next week or two to our 4-year anniversary of the Dawnbringers. With V, Jeremy, and M as the OGs, but everybody here is a Dawnbringer. So I'll check the date on that and see where that falls in exactly, and who knows, maybe we'll do something a little extra for that. So anyway, a huge thank you to V, Dan, M, Ted, Jeremy, and Katie, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple of hours. With that, we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Wizard